Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing some solo analysis and showing you some really interesting techniques that we can draw from specific licks. Now this is actually an analysis of my own solo. I hope that doesn't come across as arrogant in any way, but I've actually had a lot of people requesting that I dive into this and analyze what I'm doing. So I am making that happen. We are going to look at some spots that I thought might be particularly interesting and useful to everybody. I'm excited, let's dive in. Okay, so first of all, let's just actually take a look at the tune itself. It's kind of a fun one if you want to learn along to play it. I think it's a really great improvisation exercise to actually work on this tune. There's a lot of triadic movement of minor 11 chords, and it might be beneficial. So let's take a look. You'll also get some cool voicings in the process, hopefully. So this first chord is 1, 5, 9, flat 3, flat 7, and 11. You've probably heard me talk about it before. Down to the A minor, same thing. And then when we shift to the A flat major, we are doing this major variation. We have 1, 5, 9, 3, 7, sharp 11. So it goes like this. Then same thing here, F minor. Now I'm actually going to look at my music here. We go to G flat major. And then this is another really pretty minor 11 voicing. We have 1, 5, flat 3, 11, flat 7, 9. And then I'm doubling the 11 here on top. So here we've got B flat sus 13. So really the most basic version is going to be 1, flat 7, 9, sus 4, and 13. And then the same melody happens again, but we actually land on a D minor 11. And now we go to E minor 11, so 1, 5, 9, flat 3, 11, flat 7. Then we go to A minor 11. You've seen this voicing as well. We go down to F sharp minor 11. Now we go to E major. So we got 1, 5, 3. And then we have 5, 7. I like to kind of cluster these here. 5. And this is actually going to be 6. And 5. A lot of repeated notes here. Then here the melody goes to E flat minor 11 to D flat major 9. And here I was just doing this nice voicing, adding the sharp 11 for a second. 1, 5, 9, 3, sharp 11, major 7, 9. All right, so that is the tune. Sheet music is on screen, so you can actually see it. If you want to download the sheet music, the PDF for free, I'm actually going to place it in my free resources library. So just click the link below in the description, get signed up for that, and you can download the PDF for free. So now let's take a look at a few spots in the solo, and I think these will be really, really helpful to you. This lick actually starts on the E minor of the song. Now I'm not going to go over the exact notes here. Instead, I want to talk about the actual technique that I'm using. And it's actually simpler than it seems. It sounds really interesting and intervallic, at least to me, I think, and which is why I do it. But essentially what we're doing is using the voicings that we already know as improvisational material. So kind of the key technique here is going to be making sure that the hands can actually move seamlessly from one to the next, arpeggiating without it being super obvious which hand is playing the line. But that allows us to play these really large-scale arpeggiated lines. So what I'm kind of doing here is saying, let's say, okay, here's our E minor 11 voicing for now. Let's try this shape. So I'm actually going to arpeggiate this. So I decided to put the thumb here on both these notes. But you don't actually have to put it on both, right? You could just do the A, alternate between the A and G. You have different shapes. You could do just descending. You could do ascending. you could alternate a bit more. And then the key is connecting from chord to chord. So in this lick, I go up first, and then move down the A minor 11, and then I move down the F sharp minor 11. So let's take a listen. So essentially in this lick, I move up, down, up, down. So let's take a quick look. Something like this. Back to the E major. Now, one little tip I'll offer you is you'll notice that on my way down, before switching back to up, I landed on my third finger, right? So that way I could catch the bottom of the next arpeggio. Third finger. Now the F sharp minor. And that's essentially what I'm doing here. So it's a really fun and interesting technique. Highly encourage you to try it out. Now in the next lick, I'm just going to show it to you for a second. We already understand the technique, but this time I'm just going descending. Check this out. So that's basically just the chords that we already know, the voicings we already know on this song. All right, let's move on. By the way, if you're getting a lot out of this video so far, please be sure to hit the like button. It really, really helps me and the channel out. I appreciate it. Let's take a quick look at this next lick here. And let's take a quick listen. Okay, so basically what we are doing here is more or less arpeggiating the chords, but connecting them linearly and repeating a motif. So we start like this. And so we have this D minor 11 here. We're basically going 11, 9, flat 7, 5. Then we use a scale to move up to the next part of this arpeggio. Next we're going to A minor, so instead of transposing it perfectly, we did G, A, B, so we're going to move up to B and see if we can make this work with the A minor. And so now it actually becomes 9, flat 7, 5, flat 3. So 11, 9. So the first one starts on 11, then 11, and then the third one we start on 9 so that we can continue the linear motif with A minor. Check this out. 11, 11, 9, and then we move down F sharp minor. And that's basically it. All right, now the third and final thing I want to go over here is yet another technique, and this is basically, I don't know what to call it other than just playing super fast, not even with a very specific rhythm in mind. So let's just take a listen to this. First we'll do full speed. Okay, so obviously that sounds a bit complicated. Let's slow it down and listen to it slow down. Okay, so in some ways there's a lot to unpack there, in other ways there's actually not. Really all I'm doing here is to some extent playing about as fast as I think I'm able to play and creating almost more of a blanket texture of a line than an actual rhythmic line. So it's kind of just this technique of basically playing scales that work over the chords fast enough that you can create this textural sound. So if I was just to get really simple and just play the scales of the chords as they go by, let's look at the first four. Already we're kind of getting that sound. I threw in a couple chromatic notes, but you know, that's kind of part of my vocabulary here, and you can start doing that too. But really all I'm doing is just, as silly as it sounds, playing super fast. Then what I did as well is I actually threw in arpeggios that I'm used to, which in many ways I actually find easier than playing those fast scales, things like, because they're just these repeated shapes. So this one is, that. And it kind of makes it, again, easier than always just playing these repeated shapes, which can be very fatiguing. And then one other thing I want to just tell you is that on the very last chord of the song, the D flat major there, I was actually doing this sound before resolving. And what this is basically, you can almost think of it as a C7 over D flat, but really what the sound is D flat diminished major 7. Great sound to land on for a delayed resolution. And so once you kind of throw that all together and just go really fast, you can create these textures and follow your instincts. And just like anything else, this is something that you start off by actually practicing slow. Turn down the metronome for whatever tune you're practicing and essentially see if you can just let your fingers run. Usually I say make sure you're using your ears. In this case, your ears might be more used for the overall shape of the lines and some of the arpeggiation. Where are you going to land? What are your landing points? However, for the actual just really fast movements, maybe you actually do just trust your fingers to some degree as you're practicing this. Your brain will get more used to it as well, and you'll hear it too. But I think that this is one of those moments where you're trying to create a texture more than a specific melodic line, and so you can actually trust your hands to do the work. All right, I hope that was a really useful look at these techniques and a nice breakdown of the song itself. Again, if you want the sheet music to practice and play along with the tune, you can always go into the free resource library, which you can get access to by clicking the link in the description. Again, if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, be sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any more videos just like this one. And also, please click the like button. Really helps me and the channel out. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.